find the domain. We know with a square root we cannot take the square root of a negative number. That means that whatever is under that radical has to be greater than or equal to 0. So the radicand must be positive for the square root to exist. Can't be negative. Can be 0 because the square root of 0 is 0. So, for example, if I wanted to find the square root, the domain of the square root of x minus 3, the radicand must be greater than or equal to 0. The radicand is what's under the radical, so x minus 3 must be greater than or equal to 0. So x must be greater than or equal to 3. That's your domain. As long as I pick x's that are greater than or equal to 3, that I will be able to take the square root of that number. If I pick a number which is smaller than 3, then I'll end up with an imaginary number, or I'll end up with something which is not real. So here we go. Find the domain of the square root of x plus 2. Well, what do we know? We know that the radicand, because it's a square root, must be greater than or equal to 0. The radicand is x plus 2. That must be greater than or equal to 0. Solve for x, subtract 2 from both sides. X must be greater than or equal to negative 2. That's the domain. As long as I pick x's that are greater than or equal to negative 2, the quantity under that radical will be positive or 0. The radicand must be greater than or equal to 0. 3x minus 15 must be greater than or equal to 0. Add 15 to both sides. 3x must be greater than or equal to 15. Divide both sides by 3, or x must be greater than or equal to 5. That's your domain. As long as I have x's that are greater than or equal to 5, I'm just fine. Again, the radicand must be greater than or equal to 0. In this case, the radicand is the thing that's under the radical. Must be greater than or equal to 0. Subtract 8 from both sides. Minus 2x must be greater than or equal to minus 8. Divide both sides by minus 2. X, what happens to the... It flips. Must be less than or equal to minus 8 divided by minus 2 is positive 4. That's your domain. Okay, your turn.
So it flips because it's negative. When you divide by negative.
Yeah, negative divided by negative is a positive. Yeah. Okay, now you do the next two.